All right, everybody, we are just starting our live stream. We got another hour or two ahead of us of talking about autism, doing some advocacy for autism. If you are an autism parent, if you have a child with autism, if you have autism, or if you're just interested in autism, you are in the right place. We go live every day for a couple hours. We usually get a couple hundred people in here. It's been a little bit slower today and yesterday. Something's been up with the algorithm a bit. But come on in, you guys. We're going to have some conversations about autism. If you're an autism parent or if you're interested in autism, you're in the right place. I'm just getting some things set up, but go ahead and be asking questions in the chat or tapping on the screen, letting TikTok know that we are a real live here. I'm just getting everything all set up while people gather in. We are talking about autism. Vaccines do not cause autism. That's a topic of today. And what's odd is I go live every day, and there are still people who think that vaccines cause autism. Sadie says, "Hi, I watched your video responding to the teacher talking about IEPs. I love your content." Sadie, that means the world. Thank you so much. We're just starting out with tonight's live, you guys. If you are in here and you could tap on the screen to get us some likes going, I would really appreciate that. Just a few. We don't need a million, but tap it for a minute, and that gets us going, you guys. How's everyone doing tonight? How's everyone doing in the disability world, in the autism world? Something that I find fascinating is that there never seems to be like there's enough research or study that people will finally say, okay, you're right. Vaccines don't cause autism. The question I like to ask people is, how much evidence is enough evidence before you will believe that vaccines don't cause autism? And the answer is the same of like, we already have the evidence, or like, we don't have any evidence. I hear both of those things. Just people don't know what we already know. And we already know the cause of autism. This isn't a mystery. We know what causes autism. Let me break it down for the people just barely joining. And again, it takes a few minutes to get everyone in here. We usually get a couple hundred people in here. Sometimes late at night, it's a little different. We got some followers on the East Coast, and autism parents, they go to bed. We go to bed when our kids go to bed. And so it is, sometimes it's a little slower at night, but we get things going here. So what causes autism? What causes autism? We know it's not vaccines. We know it's not heavy metals. We know it's not the way that you parent. Okay? What we do know is that it's genetics, that it's up to 90% genetics. How do we know this? It's from the twin studies. When identical twins both have autism, when identical twins who share 100% DNA, if one of them gets diagnosed with autism, there's up to 90% chance that the other one will also be diagnosed with autism. That should tell you something, because when it's just siblings, it's closer to 20%. And so it's far more likely if you share identical DNA. What does that tell us? Well, it's in our DNA. It's in our DNA, but why is it not 100%? Well, because there's environmental factors. There's environmental factors, and we've identified a lot of them. So it's not this big mystery. People talk about it has to be vaccines because people get vaccinated more often and autism gets diagnosed more often. And so obviously, it's the vaccines. Hey, Kath, it's good to see you. Hey, Jay, good to see you guys coming in. Thank you, Kat, for coming in. I am always amazed at how many people we get here at night. I know that y'all are just getting your kids down, and maybe they've been in bed a while. And, if you need to go to bed, that's more important than watching me. But I am happy to be here and talk about autism all night. Hey, Jalila. Hi, Jalila. It's good to see you. Okay, you guys, let me open up the guest box. I don't know if I already did open it up, but we're talking to people who might disagree. And you know what? I'm not mad at you. If you think that autism is caused by vaccines, I want to talk to you. Not to be mad at you, not to do an ugly debate, but to hear where you're coming from. Hear your story. Tell me what happened. And let me share a little bit of my story and a little bit of what I know. And let's see if we can find some common ground here. I'm going to go ahead and change up some settings, see if we can't get some people in here. Change layout, fix layout. All right, you guys. Sometimes this allows us to get a few more people in here. All right, you guys, if you are new here, let me give you a little bit of a rundown. Who am I and why am I talking about autism? Well, I'm an autism advocate. I have 2 kids with autism myself. I have a 3.5-year-old and I have a nearly 2-year-old daughter who's diagnosed with autism. I have a master's degree in autism studies, and I'm a board-certified behavior analyst. I've been working with people with autism far longer than I've had children with autism. And currently I'm the CEO of a company in Utah that provides services to people with autism. And my favorite thing to do every day is to go live and talk to you wonderful people. You're part of my village. And so if you're here, thank you for being here. I go live every day. And so if you're new here, make sure you're checking out right here where it says follow so that you can see next time I go live and you can hop right in. All right, everybody. We got some people requesting in. Let's see if there's anyone who wants to have a conversation. Oh, it looks like they hopped back out. You guys, we're having conversations about vaccines in the chat. Is speech delay autism, Ghost? Good question. Good question. Autism, quite often there is a speech delay. That doesn't mean that every speech delay is autism. Not every speech delay is autism, but autism often includes speech delay. All right, you guys, we're going to get some guests in here and see if we can have some good, kind conversations. Hey, Tracy, how are you? Where are you calling in from? Hello? Can you hear me, Tracy? I can't hear you. I don't know if you're talking, but oh, there we go. Could anybody hear her? Sometimes the audio is weird on TikTok and it glitches. Let me know if you could hear her. And we'll go ahead. Oh, no? Okay, good. It's not just me then, not just my end. Let's see if we can get another person up here. Again, request up if you want to have a conversation about vaccines and autism or detox and autism. Hello, how are you? Where are you from?
Hi. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right. Hi, my name is Jessilena. I was on your live once before.
Were you? Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Thank you for coming back. You're
I
going
love
to have
it.
to remind me of what we talked about.
Oh, just talking about like our kids with autism and how they are, how they act,
Yeah.
and just like, giving other mothers courage and encouragement and
And are you
words,
holding up? Are you
yeah.
holding in there? How are you holding up
Yeah.
these days?
Well, it's now that he's getting bigger. My son is about to be 5 this June. So at first it is a challenge, because like before I have mentioned that you need patience. You
Yeah.
need patience, and you need to teach your kids over and over the same thing.
Yes.
You cannot get tired because they don't understand. And unless you teach them and show them 1, 2, 3, it doesn't matter how many times, as long as you teach them, they're gonna get it. For him now, he's nonverbal.
Yeah.
And
And how old is he?
he takes my hand to take me to the door if he wants to go outside. I
Yeah.
keep bottles of water out. As you can see right now, he's trying to say something.
That's okay. Let him speak.
But
Let him speak. He's speaking his mind
he
right now, you guys.
yes, I see him like he's more aware of things, and like
Yeah.
for him, I feel like he's just like a normal kid, except he doesn't talk. I don't know if you
Oh,
understand
yeah.
what I'm saying. Like, um,
Yeah, he's
he
just a kid. He
he
has his own
tries
needs. He
to.
has his own interests. He's his own person.
Yes, yes, definitely. With the potty training is another thing with parents that have kids that are autistic. Let me move away a little bit. Sorry.
You know what? It's just you're just proving to us you're really an autism mom, and I believe you now. I didn't at first, but
Yeah.
now I believe you.
No, definitely. Oh yeah.
I'm
I
just
I
kidding.
barely post like videos or anything of him like
I'm
on
joking.
my
I'm joking.
page.
It's great. Are you? Tell
But
me your thoughts. Are you thinking that vaccines had something to do with your kid's autism?
I'm gonna be honest. At
Yeah.
first, I did.
Yeah.
At first, I did because I have two other children, but they're already 20 and about to be 15 years old. And now I have the 4 year old. So when I had them, I was never given the chance to have this vaccine called the whooping cough, something like that for pregnant ladies.
Yeah.
I live in New York City, so that's something new now.
Yeah.
So when I was pregnant with my 4 year old, they asked me, and I was like, I never heard of this. I never had this when I had my other pregnancies. And they're like, oh yeah, it's fine. It's just in case when you give birth that you won't be coughing
So
severely,
it was
whatever.
one you
So
got when you were pregnant, and then you
yes,
kind of thought that that could have had something to do with it then.
yes.
And you know
But
what?
then,
Honestly, like I don't think there's no research of that, but honestly, that's actually more plausible than believing that a vaccine your kid got at the age of 1.5 caused the
oh
autism,
no,
because
yeah,
autism is
no.
how the brain developed. I mean, you don't catch it later on. It's not how. It's nothing like that. But
Yeah.
what kind of changed your mind? I mean, you said that's what you used to
Um,
think, and what kind of
yeah.
changed you so you don't
That
think that anymore?
that's what I used to think until his dad, his family from his dad's side would tell me, "Oh, he didn't start talking until he was 4," and I was
Wow.
like, "What?"
His
So
father didn't
yes,
speak, and oh my goodness.
he didn't
Okay.
until he was
So
4,
he may be
and
undiagnosed autistic, huh?
probably, who knows? Right now he's
Yeah.
getting genetics done,
Yeah.
and I had to go in and get swabs to see who's the one that has the autism, to see where it comes from.
Yeah.
But it's definitely, to me, I don't think is from a vaccine.
Yeah.
I like that's out of the radar. I
Yeah.
took that
But you
because
know
it
what?
like
You're when you go through something so traumatic and the grief of having a child with disabilities, it's hard, and your brain is trying to solve a problem. And it is
yes.
so normal. Like, I'm not mad at parents who believe it, because like our brain's just trying to solve this problem, and we love our kids so much, we're going to do anything to figure out what happened. And sometimes that's, making us think that it was vaccines when it wasn't. So, look,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
appreciate you
definitely.
coming up. Do you have any last thoughts for me before I move on to someone who currently thinks that?
Just for parents that are some in denial or some are blaming, the system or whatever, we still don't know where autism comes from. Just have like a open mind, and anything that you see that can help your child that will do good, just go for it. And don't be in denial, like get any kind of help that your child needs, just go and get it. But I don't think it's from vaccines,
Yeah.
definitely.
Hey, thank you so much for coming up. You have an amazing rest of your night. I appreciate
You
that you came
too.
up and I could see you again. Thank
Thank
you.
you, thank you.
Have a good one. All right, you guys. I appreciated that. I mean, that's a cool journey to be on. I will add something to what she was saying there. Just the attitude of like, do everything that you can for your kid. I agree in the essence of like everything that we know is evidence based, do it. But if you are, putting forward so much money and so much expense, and it's not evidence based, and you're going with some fringe things like detox, uh, save your money, save your time, save your resources. I'm not only an autism advocate, I'm an autism parent advocate. And what I see all the time is we are sold to. There is some fear mongering going on. There is predatory marketing, is what I call it, what it's called, when we are in not the headspace to be making rational decisions, when we just find out our kid has autism. And then people come along and they say that they have some sort of new cure that's newer than the evidence. And doctors don't know about it yet. But it only costs you $300 a month, and an hour a day of your time. Look, guys, protect yourselves. Protect yourselves. Go says, how do you detox? You don't. Your body naturally detoxes through your liver and kidneys. Detoxing is not a treatment for autism. Detox is not a treatment for autism. And I'll come up here at night. You guys, you get to see a different side of me in the evenings here. Come join my lives in the mornings, and it's the like, hey, come on up and let's kind of mourn together, let's laugh together, let's cry together. Here at night, I'm a little more vocal. I'm a little bit more of an advocate, still kind, but I don't mind spreading some evidence and talking through with people and kind of advocating. So yeah. All right, you guys. Let's bring up some more people. We got people in the guest box. If you're in the guest box, it's to have a good discussion about some of this stuff. All right, Mama Ba Boys, Mama BA Boys. Hello, where are you calling in
Hello,
from?
I'm calling from Virginia.
Virginia. Good to talk to you. What's
Yes,
your connection to autism? Do you have one?
yes, I have my 6 years old. He's autistic.
Oh wow.
I was just coming up to say that on my side, I feel like it's the shots because if I remember correctly, and I still have videos as a 1 year old, he was talking, he was speaking, and he will kind of like copy like when the cartoon are singing and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that, by the time that he got at the 2 year old shot, and then he went mute.
Yeah.
Like he stopped talking, he stopped doing things that he was doing, like like everything that like as a normal kid that he stopped everything, and all you can hear is like him screaming and crying.
How old is he
So
now?
I feel like, oh,
How old is he now?
he's 6 years old and
He's
he still haven't
six.
not speaking yet.
He's not speaking, and he was starting to, and
Yes.
then around the age of 2 or 3, he
Yeah, a
started to
1 year old.
regress.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I had a similar situation. My daughter, and I, guys, if you're in the comments, I want to tell you that the regressive autism is terrifying, and it's probably one of the most traumatic things a parent can go through because you know your kid and you feel like you're losing your kid as they start regressing, and it hurts. And so I'm so sorry. My daughter is going through that right now as well. I have two kids with autism. It's my almost 2 year old who has gone through a pretty severe regression. And what do you think about? Because I know like you have lived this, that you see this regression and our brains want to find an answer. And to you, like, you notice that vaccines were one of the things going on, but there's lots of things that happen. What makes you think it's vaccines instead of, screens, or instead of the water he drinks, or I don't know. There's a lot of things that someone might say. Oh, is it this? What pointed it out that you might think it's vaccines?
So for me, me and my husband, we think that was vaccines because when he got that 2 year old shot, and then that's when everything went muted. Like he
But
got
he had
like he
shots
wasn't
before he
speaking or
was two,
anything.
right? And he didn't see any regression.
No,
Why was it
not at
just the
all.
2 year old one?
Um,
What was it about the 2 year old shot that made it happen, and it didn't happen to any of the
we
others?
we still don't know. I mean, I'm so okay. So like, I'm from Congo, and like
Yeah.
I came here to America, so I never really see any autistic child. Like I never, like my son is the first person for
Autistic
me
child.
to
Yeah.
actually experience the whole. So I don't. I even myself, I
That's
don't
fair. And
even
I'm
really
not
know
I'm not
much
attacking you.
about it.
I'm genuinely curious of like what pointed it to be that. Because yes, that happened around the same time, but I'm sure he also watched TV around that time, or he also, and I'm not saying it's that either, but I'm just saying there's a lot of
Yeah.
things a parent could try to blame it on. And I'm always so
Hmm.
curious why it's always the vaccines that gets the blame. I am curious too. Have you looked at any of the research into vaccines and autism?
Not really. I mean, I'm saying it was the shot because
Yeah,
it happened at that time. Like, he was 1 years old and he
yeah,
was speaking. He was, doing things like a regular child would do. But then once he got the 2 year shot, and then everything changed.
yeah.
And that's why we keep,
But there were a lot
thinking
of
it is just
there's a
shot.
lot of things going on at that same time too, though. Like what I'm saying is, you found a correlation between the shot and then this happened, but there were a lot of other things that happened around that same time too, right? Like your kid
Yeah.
your kid drank water, your kid fell down,
Hmm.
your kid bonked his head, your kid, I mean, there's 1,000 things that you could say, hey, this happened around the same time. Now he has autism. Let me just kind of summarize a little bit here, because, and I have a link to my bio. Something I really like to tell families, because right now you are carrying this guilt that you did something to your child. And whether you've expressed that guilt or internalized that guilt yet, like, that guilt is present if you believe that the thing that you put in your baby's body caused him to turn out that way. And I do these lives because I really want to relieve the parents of that guilt. Like, that's a traumatic thing for you to believe, that you disposed your child to this. And I really do want you to know that there is very few things that has been researched more than vaccines and autism in the medical world. In the autism
Mhm.
world, that's the most researched thing. And we have data from millions and millions of kids, and that regression that you see, autism regression, happens all the time. It's happening with my daughter, it's happening with a lot of people. And when you look at millions of kids, it doesn't happen more with kids who are vaccinated. It doesn't happen more often. It happens just as often that they didn't get vaccinated and they still regress like that. What do you think about that?
Interesting. That's very interesting. I see somebody said it's genetic. I'm just trying to tell them that it's not genetic because they tested our DNA, like they got my husband, me, and then also himself, and then everything came negative.
Yeah.
So they told us they don't even know why he's autistic.
Yeah, so the
So
genetic
I would
thing is
not say it's
interesting.
genetic.
There's not like an autistic gene. There's like over 500 genes that we have identified, and more that we
Yeah.
haven't identified. Genes are massive. And so they do that more. That those gene testing is usually just done to further along some research. But can I explain one way that we know that autism is mostly genetic? It's a really
Yeah.
fascinating way. Okay, so there's a study. Um, do you know anyone that do you have twins or any twins in your family?
On my mom's side, yes.
Okay, so when you have identical twins, okay, do you know how much DNA they share? Do you know how identical they are?
Yeah.
They're 100%. Like, their DNA is 100%. And so what's fascinating is when you get identical twins, about the vast majority of the time, if one has autism, the other also has autism, regardless of the vaccinations. But fraternal twins, where they're just like siblings, they only share around half of their DNA. And in those circumstances, it's closer to 20 to 30% of the time. If one has autism, the other has autism. And so, like, that's one way that we know that it's genetic, even if they didn't find any markers with you, even if you don't have autism or your spouse doesn't have autism, we know it's genetic, largely, like up to 90% genetic, from those studies across, millions of kids that have been studied about this. So I don't know. I hope all of this. I'm in no way am trying to discount what you went through, because having a child regress is traumatic. And I'm living it right now. I can tell you right now, it's traumatic. You feel like you're losing somebody. But what I want is, I want to take off from you as the mother any responsibility for this happening. You did not cause your child to have autism. There was nothing that you did that made this happen. And all that I'm hearing from you is that you have done nothing but support your child. And so that's the big takeaway I want you to have from this conversation. Do you have any other thoughts or questions about that?
No, not really. Thank you so much.
Of course. Of course. Take care. I really wish you the best with your son. And I hope he finds his voice even more, and that you stay strong, because it's a lot out here for us.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Same as you too.
Thank you so much. You have a good one. All right. Talk to you later.
You too. Hmm.
All right, you guys. Welcome in, everybody. If you are just coming in, we are doing some lives tonight. I am feeling excited to advocate. How are you guys feeling? Are we feeling good today? Are we feeling good today? We have 5,000 likes almost. Let's be tapping that screen. I think we can get to 10,000 pretty quick. TikTok seems to be getting a little bit better. It's still a little bit slow for me, but it's getting a little bit better. These evening ones. Here's my theory: is I think a lot of my autism parents that watch me, I think they all go to bed when their kids go to bed, because we're exhausted. And it's only a few wild ones out here like me who the kid goes to bed and the party begins. Just kidding. That was a joke, but you guys don't know me really. I tend to go to bed pretty quick after my kid does, but I enjoy some of this. Jacob says, I love how you're connecting with people rather than arguing with them. You're doing so great. Thank you. I mean, I can argue, man. I can debate like no one else, and I love it. It feels, something inside of me feels good to do that. I feel like I'm fighting for my child, but I mean, a while back I did one of these, and I just felt yucky after it. Like my whole purpose of this is to build people up, not to tear people down. And if there's people that don't want to have genuine conversations, and I mean, I'll learn with you. If you have a good thought about this, if you have research that we can look up together, let's do it. But we don't get very far when we argue like that. So, all right, you guys. Whoa! I just said that, and we bumped up 2,000 likes. Thank you guys for tapping on that screen. A little bit about me. Let me do a little bit of an introduction. Why is there a random guy on your screen talking about autism? Let me tell you. I'm an autism advocate. I got 2 kids with autism, and I don't just advocate for kids with autism, but I advocate for the parents. And I am so sick of all the blame that gets passed on to autism parents. Not just autism parents, but specifically autism moms. If you're an autism mom, you have been told that you took Tylenol while you were pregnant, damaging your child. That is not true. You have been told that you parented your child and gave them too much screen time and caused them to have autism. That is not true. You were told that you didn't discipline them hard enough and that caused them to have autism. That isn't true. You were told that you made a decision to keep your child and your family safe by vaccinating them, and then you are told that caused autism. That isn't true. Autism isn't something you catch. It's not something the mother gives their child. In fact, some of the strongest correlations and risk factors, it is more likely that it's due to a father who is too old, over the age of 40, passing on some gene mutations than the mother passing it on due to age. And so that's something interesting. I'm not just on here as a feminist, but I see this. And then you know how people, not only do they blame you, but guess what? Now you have to run the autism world. You have to be the teachers. You have to be the caregivers. And you know what? We're not going to pay you very much to do it. Because we don't have to. We know you have a good heart that you'll do it anyways. That's what the world is saying to you guys right now. And it really frustrates me. So you know what? I come on these lives and I talk about it. And so, you know what? I'm already getting fired up and I'm just getting started here. But the autism world isn't fair to women. And it really frustrates me. So anyway, let's keep on going with these conversations that we're having about autism. Let's bring, is it Michael or Mikkel? Is it Mikkel? You'll have to tell me if I said it right. Oh, it looks like they decided not to. That's okay. I know I'm kind of scary. Alyssa, let's bring you up. Alyssa? How are you doing,
Hello.
Alyssa?
I'm good. How are you?
Well, I'm good. Where are you from? Where are you calling in from?
I am from Alabama.
Wonderful Alabama. And what connects you to the autism world? Anything, or are you just interested in it?
Well, my son is autistic. I found out that my son was autistic ever since he was actually an infant.
Really?
Yeah, so...
How old is he now?
He is 3 years old. I've advocated ever since he was an infant, let me tell you.
Amazing.
It's just... Here's the thing. My husband's stepsister's autistic, but she's type 1. And at first they said that she had Asperger's, I guess it's called.
Yep,
but
and that changed. That got lumped into
it changed. Now it's type 1, type 2, and type 3.
Level. It's not diabetes.
No. Oh, well, I don't know. With me, they told me it was type 1, type 2, and
they
type
said
3.
Type?
So I don't know.
I haven't heard the type. It's usually referred to as level, but you're right. They do the level 1.
So I guess every
3.
state is different. I'm not really sure. See, where I am, I live in Huntsville, Alabama. So it is pretty common to have a lot of autistic kids here in Huntsville, Alabama, because they said that since there's a lot of engineers here and NASA's here, you know, a lot of these parents don't know that they're autistic.
Gosh.
Yeah, a lot of parents don't know that they're autistic, and they're passing down autistic, you know, kids, you know, their genetics, you know what I mean? So
yeah, that is an amazing analysis there. I don't know the statistics behind it, so I can't agree with you. We do know
but
nationwide it's 1 in 31 kids, and
yeah, so
that's a lot.
it is.
That's a lot of
It is
kids.
very common here, especially if there's like a high, you know, engineers or somebody who are smart. If you have two smart parents, but I'm not saying I'm smart, but in general, if you have two smart parents, you're more likely to have a kid that's autistic.
Can I confess
And-
something to you? I don't tell people
Yes.
this very often. When I got into this the world and I started working with people with autism, I asked the most insensitive question a person can ask because I didn't know anything. This was back a long time ago, okay? And I feel terrible about it now. Like I look back and that was so ignorant of me. But I asked a professional working with autism. I said, "Hey, you know what? Like, do you feel like this is just like the parents kind of neglecting their kids? Like, it seems like the autistic parents, the autistic kids I know are just, you know, not really being taken care of." And I legit asked that. Like I asked that, and I look back on that day like so often of like, how could I be so ignorant? You know? And
but you'll learn.
You know,
you'll
learn.
It's yeah, you live and you learn it. One day, when I found out, I knew my son had autism. I just knew it ever since he was 6 months because he wasn't walking, and you know he was watching the ceiling fan when he was 3 months old. And they say, "Oh, that's just a whatever," and I'm like, "No, like he's very fixated on the ceiling fan, and like." There was, and then his head wasn't lifting up really well. Like he was just not. He was meeting somewhat of milestones, and then he was not meeting milestones. And then here's the thing.
Yeah.
My cousin, which is my first cousin, and which is Micah's, okay, so my first cousin has a son too. And guess what? He was meeting milestones too. And guess what? He just found out that he had autism, and he's the same age as my son.
Wow.
Yeah, and he had that autism regression, you say. Yes, and he was diagnosed with type 3.
Is that tied to the vaccines from what you're seeing?
No.
Okay.
No. And let me tell you something. My husband's aunt, she was one of the first here in Alabama to to advocate because her son has autism.
Yeah.
Too. And which is my husband's cousin, first cousin actually has autism. See, it's just crazy. Like it's just popping out of nowhere. But anyways, so she advocated for her son a lot. And that was back in the day where they said that there was no likely that he would walk, talk, or anything like that. Now he's like 20 something years old.
I love that.
And working at the Goodwill.
That's what I'm
driving
talking about. Look,
and very independent.
The diagnosis doesn't dictate where your child's going to end up, and a lot of people fear the diagnosis because they don't want to say, "Oh, my kid's not gonna go anywhere." Did you know that 30 to 40% of kids with autism go to college?
Oh, yeah, and I know someone. My husband's stepsister went to college.
Well, let me ask you this. It sounds like we agree on a lot. A lot of times I bring people up in the mornings to have good conversations like this. At night, I'm looking for a little bit of some other things. I'm wondering, have you gotten into any of the detox stuff? What are your thoughts on the detox stuff with autism?
I think it's bogus, honestly. Yeah. My husband's a pharmacist, and with detoxing, with the detoxing,
so your kid does
the
have
medication.
The smart parents, it sounds like. Your kid does have the smart parents. Yeah.
It's just not, I don't think, I mean, what are you flushing away? What are you flushing away? Like, seriously, what are you flushing away?
It's the autism you're getting rid of.
I mean, like, are you flushing away the autism? There's no way. You cannot flush away anything, not brain cells. You're not flushing away brain cells. What are you flushing away? It just doesn't make sense why people think that vaccinations does something. It just doesn't make sense.
You're spot on. Do you have any last minute thoughts or recommendations before I move on to the next person?
I just want to tell everybody in the autism world that you're not alone. It is so hard, especially with the meltdowns, man. Yeah. It's complicated, man. So but much. You just try your best and do whatever you can to,
Yes.
especially with your kids, and advocate for your kids.
It's a lot, and you don't need to put more on yourself. And I feel like a lot of these things, like the detox, that's just putting more work on you, and it's expensive. Like, we're already broke as autism parents. I mean, it's expensive to take care of our kids.
And insurance companies do not help at all.
Yeah.
Like we have Blue Cross and Blue Shield, and they only give my son
not to pay.
for what is it? Speech therapies. Therapies for speech therapy. It's like, it's stupid. It's bogus.
It's
like
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous.
Hey, I appreciate your advocacy. Thanks for coming up and sharing your story. Have a good night, okay?
Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. All right, you guys, this is such a fun time. I love coming up here with all of you guys. Let me give you a little bit of a rundown of what we do here. And by the way, I'm also streaming on the Tube. I don't want to say the full name because TikTok seems to not like it, but you know what I'm talking about. And the link is in my bio. And every single question or comment, even if you just want to argue and say something, I guarantee I'll read it. I will read whatever you have to say over on the Tube today. Just because we don't get very many people over there, subscribe over there, that'd be great. But if you have a question and a guarantee that I will answer or read it out loud, you put it over there. All right, you guys. Also, a little bit about this live is I'm passionate because I'm living this. I got 2 kids with autism. I took my son to the dentist today for the first time, and I hated it. I hated it. And maybe I can't say that word either. I don't know. I haven't learned this whole TikTok thing yet, but he was so scared, you guys. He's been showing signs of tooth pain, and so we finally took him in. And having someone touching his face, I've never seen him look more scared. And the way that he looked at me like I'm betraying him for holding him down while the dentist is looking in his mouth, it was overwhelming. It was a lot. And honestly, it was hard, and not hard on me. Like I guess I'm an empath. Maybe it was hard on him, and that's hard on me. And I could just tell that he lost some trust in me for holding him down, and he was scared, like just absolutely terrified, screaming, kicking, biting, and we did what we had to do. But it's a lot, you guys. This is why I'm on here, though, because man, we need a village. We need people advocating. We need people standing up for things, because it's hard enough as it is. And you don't need to go and make things harder for yourself by believing things that are not true and getting involved in things that are expensive unnecessarily. Lexi, thank you. Lexi said, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. It's hard. We moms do it all the time. Yeah, it's broke me a little bit today, you guys. Broke me a little bit. But I know I'm overreacting, you guys. I'm overreacting. It was a hard experience for me, though. That's all. It could have been worse. I'm grateful that we can go to the dentist. I'm grateful that his teeth look okay, and we got to keep looking for the cause and maybe address things behaviorally. But all right, you guys, let's get some more people up here. Let's get some more people. I guess I didn't fully introduce myself. It's not just that I have kids, but I work in this industry. I'm a board certified behavior analyst. For the past decade, I've worked with people with disabilities, and I am the CEO of a company that provides services throughout the state of Utah to people with autism. And I'm just here because I like it. I'm not selling you anything. Okay? You can't find any supplements or detox protocols in my bio. You can just find a nice little Facebook group for a village and a Discord chat for a village that tends to grow a lot. And again, I am prioritizing all comments that come through the tube. I can't say the full name, but it starts with a Y. And so you could join over there on the my bio, and I'll read anything that comes up there for sure. All right, guys, let's see if we have any people that want to have meaningful conversations. Carolina, you're here enough. I'm gonna let you up. I don't know if you're here with any disagreeing, but I'll for sure let you up. How you doing, Carolina?
Hey, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm pretty good.
I mean,
we've spoken, right?
Yeah. Yes, we've spoken once before.
Okay, I thought so, but I talked to a lot, and I apologize. I definitely recognize your name.
It's okay. You
So-
got a big following now, which is awesome.
Oh,
So
it's
okay.
not that big, but it's fun. Yeah.
no, that's great. I wanted to just address first of all how hard it was for you today to go to the dentist. That is something that I have. My 3.5-year-old has autism, and he's nonverbal, and so he has really bad food allergies, medically complex in a couple of different ways. So he's had a lot of like blood work that's had to be done and that kind of stuff. And there's nothing harder than having to hold your child down. And, when they look up at you and they're like, why are you doing this?
It's the
and
betrayal,
they don't really understand.
right? It feels like
horrible.
they feel like
It's
you're betraying
horrible.
them. At least that's what
It's
I'm
awful.
perceiving.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that's felt
and
that.
they're and the thing is too is that they're so smart that they like they can tell you can tell what they're looking at you and thinking. And just wanting to to happen to be that person, it's hard. So it's okay for you to be to feel upset about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's
I
hard.
appreciate that. Is everything going okay for you and your family?
What was that?
Is everything going okay for you and your family?
Yeah.
The little
I
one?
actually wanted to come up and talk about something you kind of touched on a little bit. So the supplement industry and all that kind of stuff. So that was something I think that all of us, when you first get a diagnosis, you kind of go down that pathway a little bit. You at least research a little bit, right? Like you're kind of like, is this something that's worth looking into or trying and all that kind of stuff?
Everything.
So with us, it was a little bit different, I guess. It was kind of a combination of different things, but he has really bad eczema. He has, really bad food allergies, all these different things. And I was like, maybe it's the gut. I keep looking at these things. Maybe there's something going on with that. And, of course, like no one else, all the specialists that we're seeing, the allergists, none of them really listening about that. So I looked into the wellness industry and I got into this place. And honestly, for me, a lot of it was about wanting to try. I don't know if we can say this or not. Like the leucovorin, can we talk about that, or is that something we can't?
Do. But maybe that's maybe that is not good. I don't know. Go for it, leucovorin. Yeah.
Well, so that was something I was wanting to try. I was just curious about it. And from what I was looking at, there's not many side effects or anything like that. So I was kind of like, so let's try it. So that was another thing I'd heard from another mom at our ABA clinic, you need to go to this integrative medicine place and, like just try it out and they'll prescribe it and you can just try it. That was kind of the reason I went in there. So our experience was very interesting, I thought. They immediately pushed a bunch of very, very expensive tests that insurance does not cover. And a lot of it, she was, like I was trying to look through it, and it's a lot of things that are kind of hard to understand. I have somewhat of a medical background even, and it was still very hard for me to understand what I was looking at. It's pages and pages and pages. So she kind of came in there, first of all, before we even had these tests done, she was saying, okay, you need to go ahead and have this test, this test, this test. And also, let's start him on these 5 supplements. And they were also very expensive, wow. And also I was worried about, he reacts to a lot of things. He like he's allergic to so many different things. And I was nervous about it. And she was like, oh no, like it's like, let's just try it, She also wanted to do a nose swab where she was checking to see if he had staph or strep, because she was saying that strep and staph can cause a lot of behavioral issues. And I thought it was really interesting because she was saying, even though we had talked at length about like kind of what was going on with him and what we were seeing with him, she was like, oh yeah, it can cause, the no eye contact. It can cause a lot of this and that. And I was like, oh, my son doesn't really have that though. We, she didn't even really listen to what I was saying.
It sounded like they were using the leucovorin, which I'm excited about some of the research coming out of it. I'm not ready to widely recommend it on my platform. It's not there yet, but it's exciting stuff. But
definitely, and I think that
it almost seemed like it was a
people,
funnel to like it starts there, and then it's like, oh, you want that? Well, let's do all of these other things. Let me get you
Yes,
set up with
that's
everything.
exactly what it was like. I went in there with this one, I want to try this, and then it was just kind of like she hoodwinked me into trying all these other things. And I was like, why not? Why not? Why not? Started having a lot of stomach upset with a lot of these like supplements, started having his eczema flare up really bad, and I was like, obviously this is not working. Then she starts telling me, oh, he has a hard time regulating his body temperature, which I think is a very interesting part of autism that people don't really talk about. It manifests physically sometimes to where, with you can't regulate your emotions, you can't regulate a lot of different things. You also sometimes physically can't regulate your own body temperature. So he'll sweat a lot, he gets hot very easily. That kind of thing. And she was telling me that's a sign of parasites. So let's do a parasite cleanse. And that's where I kind of put my foot down and I was like, we're not doing that. Because she was like, that's actually really hard on the body though. And I was like, we're not going to do that. He has enough going on in his body,
That's so interesting. I want to touch just for a second on some of these things that I'm seeing, that a lot of people are commenting and saying that they've had positive experiences on leucovorin. I want to be very clear about this, and just because I don't want parents to have one more thing that they need to be worrying about. So leucovorin has some good theory behind it, and there are about it's also known as folinic acid, not folic acid, folinic acid.
Yes.
And there are 5 randomized clinical trials that are published on it with mixed, leaning positive results. Not like drastic, more mild to moderate.
We tried it. We tried it for about 7 months, and we did not see any difference at all besides hyperactivity. That's really the only thing that we saw. Yeah. We gave it a good college try, and some people, that's not, I think that some people maybe do have a folic acid deficiency, or they have some problem with folic acid uptake in their, in the neurotransmitters and that kind of thing. Yeah. I don't think that's the case for a lot of people that have autism.
I just want to say though, with the leucovorin, that I think
worth trying maybe.
I think a lot of people, like I am not a fan of people sharing their experiences on things, because that's how detox.
It's anecdotal.
It's anecdotal. That's how like detox theory spread, is by people saying, look, my son is talking now, and it's because of detox. Look, my son is talking now, it's because of leucovorin. And then others who say, hey, look, my son was terrible and leucovorin ruined his life. Like these are anecdotes. And what we really need is, on platforms like this, it shouldn't be testimonials talking about it. What we should be able to say is that there are research studies, randomized clinical trials, where some kids are getting a placebo and others are getting leucovorin. And there needs to be a measurable improvement in the treatment condition. And like that is what we need to be looking for. And so those of you wanting to share the excitement, I am so excited about your child progressing. We can't say it's the leucovorin because it wasn't a randomized clinical trial. You can think 100% that it was, and I'm hoping that it was. But what we really need to be looking at is a randomized clinical trials. And the largest randomized clinical trial that kind of pushed the current administration to be vocal about leucovorin, it was retracted about 3 weeks ago because of some mistakes in the data collection that led to inaccurate reporting. And so that was the largest, most significant findings to date that got everyone excited. The other 4 had some positive results. It's one of those things where it's not going to be a miracle cure. It's not going to be something that everyone's going to be like, everyone has to do it. Most likely, it's going to, if you're going to do it, it's probably within the next year or so we'll have more data, and you're going to have to be part of the subset that has a deficiency in folinic acid, which is 10 to 20% or something of kids with autism. And then even then, it's not going the improvements are gradual, especially people that say overnight, the moment he started taking it, it was great. Even in the results of those studies, when there are good results, we're talking about 2 months down the road, they start seeing a little bit of progress, not an over the night thing. And so especially when people think that they have over the night progress, that to me is okay, they're seeing things that they want to see. Anyway, what do you think? I talk too much. Curious your thoughts.
No, that's very good points that you made. I had a lot of the same things, it was, I joined a couple of different Facebook groups that had their kids that were on leucovorin also. And I said, at the 4-month mark, I was like, hey, I'm seeing some things that's like, maybe this is, like, it seems like he's maybe a little bit more aware of things going on around him. It's maybe a little bit more of this, but how do I know it's not just something that would have happened without leucovorin?
Yeah.
And a lot of people are a little bit biased, especially on those sites, that they're like, oh, just keep going, it's going to get so much better. It was very obvious when we took him off of it that it was just developmental things that were going to happen anyway. It wasn't anything to do with him taking leucovorin,
And I think that's the case with so many
Yeah.
therapies, so many treatments, whether they're established treatments or not. Like, you really can't just listen to the anecdotes and the emotional stories. So you have great perspective. I appreciate you coming up. Do you have any last thoughts that you want to get across to people before I move on to the next person?
I would just kind of echo your thoughts about, like, that was something that I really went down into the rabbit hole with when my son was diagnosed, was just, I want to try everything. I want to do all the things, throw all the things at him to say that we tried everything, to lessen his symptoms or to make life easier for him. That gets very overwhelming very quick. And the supplement industry preys on people like us that are thinking these things that are, and I saw that personally. And I also wanted to say really quickly, a big thing for me that happened. She swabbed his nose, like I was, saying before, for staph and strep, and he tested positive for staph aureus. And she said, "Oh, we gotta get him on antibiotics for this, because that causes all these behavioral problems. That could be the things you're seeing." And the antibiotic that she prescribed us to does not even treat staph aureus. It does not work for it at all.
I mean,
I looked into it before she gave it to him.
They were trying to sell you everything.
Yes,
like
exactly. They prey
if you
on
bought
you.
everything and did their entire treatment, what was going to be the total cost monthly, do you think?
So just to be a member of this place, it was $75 per month just to be a member there. It was not covered by insurance at all. So each visit was also, however much, I think $50 or something like that, plus all the supplements, plus everything else. I mean, it was going to be astronomical. And
Like
that's what I'm saying. They
$400 a
prey
month
on people that are desperate. That want an answer. And I'm telling you right now, you have to really, really take a step back. And this is not what we should be focusing our efforts on.
No.
Because it's very obvious when I saw that, and when I read that, the prescription antibiotic that she wanted to give my child was not even for the thing she was, trying to cure, quote unquote, right? That is a huge, insane, crazy thing.
Oh yeah.
So they don't know what they're talking about, like, truly. It's not regulated. There's, it's not, there's not a lot of the stuff that
what's in there is
you don't know what you're actually giving them.
Yeah.
So that was the last thing I wanted to say really quickly, was just kind of piggybacking off what you were saying about with the supplement industry. They really do prey on parents like us, and just be very, very careful with that kind of stuff.
You're amazing. You have such a good perspective on this. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you for letting me up.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate it.
All right. We'll talk later. Bye.
Have a good night.
All right, you guys. We have a couple comments over on the YouTube. Again, I am prioritizing comments on YouTube today, and so any comments that come through, I'm going to read. Let's see what they say. Neil Nail says, as an adult working on unmasking, I am having a hard time coping, and internal meltdowns have turned into paralysis or harm-inducing behaviors. What can I do to reduce the harm or process the experience? Neil, what a tough question. And there's more and more adults getting diagnosed right now. More and more adults who are recognizing, you know what? I wasn't just a weird kid. Like, I genuinely saw the world differently. My experience was different than other people's, and that is valid. And, when you recognize that you have been masking your entire life, and, the freedom of just being able to be yourself is incredible. But you know what? As you go through that process, my recommendation to adults who are figuring out this diagnosis, you need a therapist on your side. You need a mental health therapist who's an expert in autism. And that person needs to be in your corner. Brianna, we have another comment over here on YouTube. We appreciate you, Kylan. Thank you for your wisdom and positivity in our life. I'm sorry it was a rough day. The dentist is hard. Oh my gosh, thank you. That means the world to me to hear. It was hard for me today. But yeah. All right, you guys. Let's see. What else are we wanting to have a conversation on? I am going to go ahead and clear the guest request box, and I want to tell you guys, only request up if you disagree with me. If you think that vaccines cause autism, if you think that detox does work, I think it's important that people hear why people think that that's the case. And you've been hearing me. I'm kind and I'm understanding. And please request back up if any of you guys were that way. I want to talk to you. Hello, Sarah. How are you?
Hi. Hi. First of all, I just want to piggyback on the fact that you're not overreacting for what you went through today. My son had, he choked on a piece of plastic and it went into his left lung. This was over a year and a half ago. And he had to have emergency exploratory surgery where they had to, it was awful. It took 6 of us.
Why do our kids always end up in the ER? I mean,
I know.
Oh my gosh. It's constant.
It took 6 of us to hold him down, including my husband, to get an IV in. And I just remember him looking up at us, like all upset and stuff like that. Like, and it's
looking
just,
at you
it was
like
hard to
betrayal. Like, oh.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
I just want to get, you're not overreacting. It's hard, and that was something I'll never get over.
Yeah.
So
Does he still love you when he woke up?
Yeah.
I bet he does. I bet he does.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Thank you for sharing that. Do you have any other thoughts on what we've been talking about today?
No, I just want to share, like, my son went on Leucovorin and I had so much hope for it, and everyone was like, oh, my kid was on it for 3 days and he was talking, and my son is completely nonverbal, and he's been on it since October, and he has had no words with me yet. The only thing I can say is, like, what the girl that was in before me, like, he started acknowledging his siblings, which that could have been just, him, what do you call that? Like milestones and stuff like that.
Yeah, it could just be the development, and it could have been the Leucovorin. I'm excited for more data to come.
I am excited for it. I want to say, I do think people should do the MTHR gene mutation test, because my son has that, and so he does need Leucovorin because he has a severe MTHR gene defect. So he needs to be on Leucovorin, and I don't want to say.
Well, what's interesting is the MTHFR, about 50% of the population have, and so it's a very common thing, and that's another one of those that they'll test you, and then they'll try to pump you full of the methylated supplements and make you feel like you're gonna ruin your child's life if they don't have this perfect diet, and a lot of that is exaggerated too. I mean, it's a good thing to know. It's a real thing that you should be aware of, but it's exaggerated for sure, and it's not. They haven't found it being correlated to autism. It's just its own thing that anyone can have, whether you have autism or not. Yeah.
I just want people to realize that Leucovorin isn't the magic pill, because I thought it was going to be like this magic thing, and he was going to be going from not speaking to speaking, and that's not how it is.
It's a false hope, and it's hard. I appreciate you coming up and sharing that, Sarah. That's a very, very level-headed approach and viewpoint of it, and well done doing everything you can for your child. You sound like an amazing mom for him.
I appreciate it. So are you.
Hey, thank you so much. All right, you have a good day, okay?
You too.
All right,
take care.
Bye. All right, you guys, we got good people on here. Guys, we talk to people who have differing thoughts, and you know what? We're kind to each other. If you are new here, if you are just finding me today, I want to know who here is new. Put FYP in the chat if you are new, just finding me today on your For You page. Put FYP in the chat. I want to know. Anyone here, this is your first time seeing me? Okay, we got a few people here. Welcome in. Just a few moments ago, Jocelyn, welcome in. Thank you guys for being here. Buell, thank you. Lavi, I'm glad that you're here. Aza, Grady says, I love your page. Thank you so much. EU, thank you for being here. Dope, thank you. Sarah, I see, I heard about that too. Yes, okay. Carolyn, thank you. Guys, so many people here just coming across the For You page. I go live every day, and you don't want to miss it. We come across the most interesting people, the best people, and we're supportive. And we can have disagreeing conversations all the time, but we're polite to each other about it, okay? If you see right here, it still says follow on your end. Make sure you hit that so that you can see next time I go live. I am putting preference to the comments over on the YouTube today. And if anyone leaves a comment there, I promise I will read it out loud. If you disagree with me, if you want to say the most mean thing to me, put it over there. I'll read it out loud for everyone to see. But most people have been pretty kind. Thank you, guys. Let's go ahead and bring up the next person. Let's have a conversation, you guys. Be True, hello.
Hi, good evening, good evening.
Good evening. Did we just have a conversation? I can't remember.
Oh, we had last night, yeah. So thank you for bringing me up and everything. And,
remind me what we talked about last night. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, no, I'm the 20-year special needs nurse.
Oh,
and,
yes.
My daughter's 19 and so forth. But I just want to, working in the healthcare industry as long as I have, I want everybody on here to understand, okay, medicine is not, healthcare is not built on curing anything, okay? We symptom manage, right? That is what we do in healthcare. We don't cure anything, we symptom manage, right? That's why, especially with autism, do not buy anything off of TikTok. Don't do it. Nothing will work. Yeah. Those supplements don't work. Those drinks don't work.
It's so expensive too. I can't believe it. Did you hear that other parent talking about how they were getting sold all that?
Yeah, Luke of Warren. No. Okay, there's not enough research out there to be conclusive. There just isn't. Here's the thing, and what I've been really trying to stress with people is look at your environment. What is your home environment like? If your kid is hitting, scratching, doing whatever, why? Why? Look around you. Is it the lights? Is it the sounds? Is your house noisy? My house is very dark, no lights on, very quiet, no behavior.
We're not trying to cure autism. We're trying to support. We're trying to help people grow. Yes. People with autism, you don't reverse the autism. But you can grow and you can learn, and we can support people with autism. So, great thoughts. Any last minute thoughts before I'd really like to talk to some more
no problem. But I just want to illustrate, because you're talking about Luke Warren. So please, it's not a cure-all. They're going to prey on us. They will start asking the question of, why is my kid doing this? What is happening around them? They're sensory overloaded. Okay, let's understand that. And you've got to really just work on their triggers. Okay, that is why. You got to ask the questions of why they are doing these things. And don't look for the quick fix. It's not there, and stuff. But, don't, do your research, and hang in there, and enjoy your kids, and stuff.
Thank you so much. I agree.
No problem.
Very well
no
said.
Problem.
Thank you. All right, you guys. Lomo, I saw you there. I sent you an invite. I sent you an invite. If you want to have a conversation, you can come on up. Tell me about it. What do you think about taking a jab? Does that have to do with autism? We're kind. I'm not going to yell at you. Come on up. We'll be kind about it. We'll be kind. I just love to hear people's perspective on things. How's it going, Lomo?
I'll bite.
Where are you from?
I live in Florida.
Oh, awesome. And are you connected to the autism world at all?
I know of some people.
Yeah. Love it. And
with it, and I work with some people who have it as well.
Oh, really? What do you do?
They're definitely high functioning, because I work in a poker room.
Oh, nice. Okay. I was thinking you worked with the
Oh
special
no,
needs
I'm sorry.
population.
Coworkers. They're
I understand.
coworkers.
Coworkers that seem to be autistic. Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah.
And what are your thoughts about the jab? What are your thoughts about autism and vaccines? Have you looked much into it or not much?
No, yeah, absolutely, and I'll try not to get upset, but it's just very upsetting that the medical industry and that woman who was just on, talking about healthcare. She's absolutely right. They treat the symptoms. They don't treat the cause. They don't look for the underlying reasons on why people are the way they are. And I guess like my first question is like, are you diagnosed with autism or
No, I
what's
got
your
two
thought
kids.
more?
So my background, I have two kids with autism. I'm a board certified behavior analyst, so my master's degree is in autism studies. And then I'm the CEO of a company that supports people with autism throughout the state of Utah. So I love autism. I love people with autism. I think their brains are beautiful. I think that they're amazing people. I don't think it's something that needs to be cured. I think it's something that needs supported. And that's why I come up here. I have kind conversations about it and hear other people's perspectives. So
No, I love that take on it, and I guess it's with that take though. I feel like there's a potential blind side of like, do you not want to understand the causes of it? And are you one that believes people are born with it?
yeah, I believe that it's 80 to 90% genetic, and I can prove it to you. Can I talk about how we know that?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so have you ever heard of twin studies with autism? Have you read any of these? It's fascinating.
I haven't read any of the twin studies. No.
Okay, let me break it down for you, and you can look into it later too. I have my references up in my bio, but so twin studies. If you have identical twins, they share 100% DNA. Okay, right? They are genetically, their DNA is identical. Fraternal twins, they're just like siblings, 50% DNA shared, and so or around 50%. So identical twins, if one identical twin has autism, almost always the other identical twin also has autism. But fraternal twins, it's not like that. It's the same as any other sibling. There's about a 20% chance if one sibling or one fraternal twin has autism that the others do. And so it's not 100% though. There are rare times where one identical twin has it and the other doesn't. And so where you're looking at environmental causes, absolutely there are. But this idea that we don't know what causes it, we do. And it's like this, we know a lot. We don't know 100%, but we know it's up to 90% genetic, and the other 10% are environmental risk factors. However, every single environmental risk factor that has been identified, and I can go through them all, but every single one occurs while the mother is pregnant or during delivery, not when the child is already like, a 1-year-old or 1.5-year-old when the brain is more developed. Anyway, what do you think about that? Have you heard any of that before?
I haven't heard any of that before, and interesting on like I would guess I'd like to know more about what do you mean? Are you saying they develop autism in utero?
Yeah. It's how the risk factors are things that happen in utero.
Can you give me like a couple?
Yes.
Of the risk factors, and specifically in utero, and maybe even one at birth.
Yes, absolutely. I can run through a bunch of them. So some of the risk factors that we know of. So we have infections in the mother can lead to increased risk. We also know that exposure to pollutants during pregnancy at high levels, specifically from like automobiles, pollutants at high levels is increased risk factor of autism during pregnancy. Now, a baby being exposed does not increase that baby's risk factor, but while a mother is pregnant, that does increase the risk factor. Another one is parental age. And so specifically a father that is over the age of 40, there's an increased chance that plays into the genetics though, not necessarily the environment, but it can cause gene mutations, increased risk factor of the gene mutations. At birth, you asked about, we do know that premature birth, especially when there is a deficiency of oxygen during the birth and delivery with time in the NICU that they need, that increases the risk of autism. But throughout, hundreds and hundreds of studies about this, I have yet to see a single one. I know of none risk factors that have been identified after the baby, like beyond the prenatal and perinatal, which is like during delivery phase of life. And yeah, anyway, that's what I know about it.
And then personally, can I ask if your children are vaccinated, or were they up to date? Did they receive all their Hep B and MMR and all those shots?
Yes, all 4 of my kids, and 2 of them have autism.
Okay. And then I guess, when you mentioned the in utero pollutants, do you consider vaccines pollutants that can be administered to the mother while pregnant?
So that is not considered in the study that I was citing. That is specifically like the automobile pollutants that I was citing. There's also wildfire smoke is correlated with it during pregnancy, which is
Would you agree
weird.
that would be,
But
it could
hold on.
be considered?
I do have a bunch of
pollutant?
studies already there cited. They've studied this and they've looked into it. They have found 0 correlation. It's not a risk factor, the vaccines.
Yeah, and I guess, of course, I'm
I'm not saying there's not a risk with vaccinations. Like there's other injuries, but just autism isn't one of them.
Right, and I love that you even admitted that there are injuries that can be
Oh yeah.
and overall, like it's just sad. I don't know. Again, people have a feeling of people who live in Florida. I don't know. Maybe they think we're crazy, but because we are getting rid of our like school vaccinations and things like that, and Joe Rogan, I don't know if you're familiar with the most recent Aaron Siri interview that he did.
I didn't watch it.
Yeah, it came out 3 days ago. I'm almost done with it.
Is it a good one to watch? Should I go listen to it?
Yeah, no, Aaron Siri, Siri. He's he's the attorney that's kind of doing all. No, he's not a doctor, but he's an attorney who's doing all the lawsuits and document research on all these cases recently that have come out with trying to find out the history of vaccines, and it's just.
Did they talk about autism?
Overall, I feel like and I guess my only.
Yeah, I'm curious what they said about it.
My only personal experience, and it's not even a person, it's just a friend of mine, and she has a daughter who I think is like 8 or 9 now, and totally nonverbal, has like the intelligence of like a 3-year-old, and she's like 8 or 9, and she tells me that she did see like the lights go out of her daughter shortly after the MMR, and it's just sad that people don't really like look more into that. I don't know. Have you? There's going to be propaganda on both sides, but have you watched the Vaxxed movies?
So I haven't watched a Vax movie. I've looked through the research on it, but can I share a little bit of my daughter's journey? As she went through that as well. Like it's great. Like. I never thought that I'd have a kid with autism. Like you never think it's you. I think deep down I was like prideful of like I'm too good of a parent. Like I'm not gonna get a kid with autism, even though that's ridiculous to say because it has nothing to do with it. But my daughter around the age of 14 months stopped responding to her name, stopped communicating, and we saw a lot of regression. And
you saw regression, okay.
Yeah. And it was just before her MMR, but it's around that same time. She had other shots as well, but that's the thing is when you look at the millions of kids and in these meta-analyses, you're not talking about one researcher doing fraudulent things. We're talking about like thousands and thousands of researchers involved and professors and schools and and meta-analyses of all of those. That if this was like a huge conspiracy, we're talking a lot of people that would have to be involved with a huge conspiracy.
And you think about it, and any of the people who do come out and talk about it, they lose their licenses. So it's essentially like stand up to the industry or lose your livelihood. That's scary.
Yeah, I don't know of that happening.
Okay.
I'd love to learn about it.
Dr. Paul Thomas, I believe, is one of them. If you
some names. Do you know about the Wakefield study where it was very fraudulent? What he did,
yes.
Like he was big pharma. He was part of big pharma. The only documented experience that we have of like actual evidence of fraudulent peer-reviewed studies coming out to support big pharma was those trying Wakefield. He wanted his own vaccine to succeed, and so he put out this research blasting the current MMR so that his own would work. And they looked at it and found that it was totally fraudulent. So I do believe that money speaks and big pharma speaks, but the only evidence that we've seen that has been on the opposite side, where it tried to convince a bunch of people that autism was caused by the MMR vaccine in an effort to get the other vaccine on the market.
And I mean, I think it's a compounding thing. I mean, I think the biggest one recently is the Hep B at birth.
Yeah.
I think it got taken off as the schedule as it's recommended. It's not required. I try to keep up to date with that. And I mean, that's for me, that's a win. I don't know about you being in the medical field and being.
Well, it doesn't have to do with autism though. Like that's the thing that gets me is like when my daughter regressed, okay, but when you look at the data, regression doesn't happen more often in kids that are vaccinated versus those that are not. It happens in kids that are not vaccinated too, evenly.
Well, there's the cohort study that, again, the Aaron Siri came out with, and people are going to bash it because it was from, oh my gosh. Now you're getting, I want to say one of the big ones. Was it Hopkins or one of the big, because it was through them, but then they like said, oh, it's not true. But yeah, a lot of, again, his name's Aaron Siri. There's other people, Suzanne Humphreys, and
hold on, back up. What are you saying about Aaron Siri? Is there a study out there saying vaccines cause autism that I don't know about?
Yeah, the cohort study by Aaron Siri. I have my iPad right here. It was quote, let's see, cohort Aaron Siri. I think it was John Hopkins. It was Henry Ford. I'm sorry. Henry Ford cohort study. If you probably Google that, it might come up. It's not very long, but I think they did a comparison with the Amish community, I believe, and they compared the two and they showed the studies and there were
like
more,
the Amish
and it wasn't
community where they don't have psychologists to diagnose autism.
Well, that's another thing. It's like they claim like, oh, because you didn't go to the doctor, that means that you're not getting diagnosed. Well, it's like they don't have the allergies. They don't have and again, it's about more of like, I feel like autism other than
autism
death.
Specific, like, is what we're talking about here. And
yeah, autism specific.
Know, like,
I totally get that, but there it's other factors that it's grouped up, and it's a vaccine injury to me, and they're all this. I don't want to say they're all the same, but they're all seeded from. It's just another.
Autism is.
Yeah, it's a vaccine injury.
Wait, after all we just went through that whole discussion about the genetics,
I understand.
Your takeaway is after all of that, that's still your takeaway?
It's going to be my takeaway. I'm sorry. I have a 14-month-old daughter. I haven't vaccinated her. She's happy. She's healthy. I have another friend who has 2 children.
If she has autism, are you going to change your mind?
If she has autism, I'll change my mind.
Okay.
And I'm not scared of it. I believe in God, and I believe God will only put things in my path that I can handle. Like you said, you didn't think that you would have kids with autism, and I bet it's hard. It's hard to.
Yeah, I know that it's a popular thing to believe, and it's what it sounds like to me is that you have this pre-existing belief that vaccines are bad. And because of
I wasn't always like this, though. I promise I was not always like this.
Because of this pre-existing belief, no matter what evidence is presented to you, there's always a way to wiggle around out of it. And it's weird to me. Like, is there any amount of evidence that could show you that vaccines don't cause autism? Not that vaccines are good. I'm not even trying to prove to you that vaccines are good. But is there any amount of evidence that you could see to know that vaccines don't cause autism?
Yeah, of course. I believe I'm mature enough intellectually to know that to look at evidence and see the difference. But I also
studies, is that not powerful enough to tell you that it's genetic?
I mean, I have to quote follow the money. I have to see who is supplying these studies.
Okay. I mean, we're talking about worldwide. It's not just like one person. Mm-hmm. These are dozens and dozens. The whole thing with science is you have to be able to replicate it. And do you know how much a researcher wants to find the vaccines cause autism? They would want that more than anything, because their name gets put on it. Did you know that you can do a study? You. What's your name again? I can't remember. I'm sorry. Lomo. You can go and do a study. You could go right now to an institution, a review board, and say, hey, I want to study and show that vaccines cause autism. And you could write a really, and no one's going to make you biased, right? You can be trustworthy. Any person can go and do this. You don't have to be paid to do a study. And people don't get paid to do studies. There's people that just want their name to be published because publishing gives you clout. If you were the one who found that autism was caused by vaccines, do you know how famous you would be? Do you know how big of a professor you would be? There is so much motivation.
They're not. They're
for people to find it.
ostracized. They're ostracized.
No. You can go and do it. Even if you don't have a degree, you can go and do this study and have it be peer reviewed. And so I really worry that, like, you say that your mind could change, but I don't believe you. I really I could show you all this evidence, and then all that you say is like, oh, well, I don't believe it because they're probably paid. And no matter what happened, I could say, no, they weren't paid. Look who these people were. And I could give you their entire background and it'd still say, no, there has to be something for this to be the case.
I'm just reading the most recent comments saying they have a kid who regressed after autism, and I have another one who said it's compounded, doesn't work overnight. Yeah, I feel like, again, I don't know, maybe with your medical background, you have just the strong belief in it.
I don't have a medical background. I'm not a doctor.
Well, you work with
autism.
them, and yeah, you work with them.
Yeah. Yep.
I believe have paid their part.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it. Here's the other part of it that you probably haven't thought of. A lot of the language that comes out about autism really hurts autism parents. When you tell a parent, and this is one of the reasons I come up, because there's no evidence. There's no evidence that vaccines cause autism. And when you come and tell parents that it did, what you're saying is that those parents damaged their child.
No, I believe they were evidence. Fooled. They were fooled. It's not their fault. It is not their fault. I talked to my friend about it. It is not her fault. She was fooled. No. A parent, if the parent believes that they did something, you could tell them it's not their fault, but they're the one who approved it. They're the one that approved it despite the advice of a professional who was supposed to have their best interests at heart and didn't.
Yeah. But what you're doing is you're passing blame onto the parents.
I'm not. I promise I'm not at all. I mean,
you're not wanting to, but it's the same thing as a Tylenol. That one, there was one study, but there were confounds. The bigger studies haven't showed a correlation. That it's telling the mothers that they did something wrong. It's also like I see it with screen time. I don't know if that's one that you hear a lot. A lot of people say screen time causes autism, and we know it doesn't. But that's again targeting the mothers who are taking care of their babies. And so I really want to defend parents. I want to make sure that we are being truthful. And I tell you what, if a study came out and could be replicated that vaccines cause autism, I'd be on here yelling it from the rooftops. See, I don't have any bias here. If I'm already saying it's wildfire smoke, pollutants. There is one medication, I can't remember the name of it, but it's rarely prescribed. And yes, it's been linked to autism when the mother takes it in utero. I mean, I will say all of these things. I'll also say a 40-year-old man and older, like that could be me someday, right? Like I'm not afraid to point my finger at something. I just don't feel the need to decide beforehand what to point my finger at. I wanna first like see the evidence around it.
Okay. Yeah. And I mean, I would point you back to I did pull it up eventually, impact of childhood vaccination on short and long-term chronic health outcomes in children, a birth cohort study. And it goes along the lines of, it does everything. It does chronic health conditions like asthma, brain dysfunction, but again, neurological disorders.
Was it published?
It considers
is it
those.
peer-reviewed? What journal was it published in?
This is, I mean, I think if you just do, like I said.
What is it called? Name me the title of it and I'll check out what journal it was in. Make sure it's peer reviewed here. That's
Yeah,
the
I need
research
to.
we need.
I think someone was trying to peer review it, but I can't recall. But if you just do birth cohort study,
Birth
Henry Ford,
Wait,
and it's
birth
about
cohort study by
Henry Ford, and if
Henry
you
Ford.
you
Where
it's a
was this
.gov.
published and
They're gonna
peer
say they didn't
reviewed?
publish it.
All right, let's find out where this was published and peer reviewed. Okay, impact of childhood vaccination on short and long-term chronic health outcomes in children, a birth cohort study. Was it published in a journal? No, the study was never published in any scientific journal. It was not peer-reviewed. It exists only as an unpublished draft manuscript. The document circulating online is essentially the draft paper itself, which was later entered into the record of a U.S. Senate hearing, but not published academically. This is your one source to tell me that vaccines cause autism when I literally have dozens saying that there's no relationship?
I'm just saying you should look at it.
I just looked at it. What am I missing
You didn't.
here?
You did the AI search of like now you think it's garbage, but if you should read it.
I should read it? How can you trust it if it's not peer reviewed? Why wouldn't it get peer reviewed?
Our newly published peer review critique of the analysis. Well, then now I'm seeing December 11th, 2025, breaking peer-reviewed reanalysis of the Henry Ford birth cohort study finds vaccinated children are sicker across all 22 chronic disease categories.
Does it talk
So
about
you have-
autism?
Yeah, the study talks about autism, absolutely.
And what was published? Because that journal was never published.
This says there was a reanalysis of it because you're right. That one cohort study was not published, but then they went and they peer reviewed that study.
Okay, so if I can find out what you're talking about there and that was never published or that doesn't say what you're trying to, are you going to believe that vaccines don't cause autism?
Yes and no, because there's
This is what I'm saying. Like, there's no amount of info. There's always one more thing of like a weird conspiracy, man. I don't understand why. Like, I don't even care. The purpose of this is about autism, not vaccines. You can go and say vaccines are bad. I mean, I have a different live about that. That's a different topic. This is specific autism. You can still hold to the belief that vaccines are bad, but it's not autism.
Neurological diseases. Is here now published on this record. Seen this International Journal of Vaccine Theory, Practice, and Research. But
all right,
it's okay.
Look,
I mean, yeah, no, I
honestly
appreciate
though, like you have been super kind, and I appreciate this. Hopefully, I haven't been too mean. I know I get passionate sometimes, and I don't try to get mean.
No,
about
and I'm
this.
the same way. And I know that I was focusing on an array of issues regarding vaccines because when I hear it's to me they're the same. They're synonymous.
Yeah.
Because I believe it is a vaccine injury, and God bless you and raising your children, and I'll pray for them. But I hope in general people open their eyes, and Aaron Siri, there's a few different names that I could list off that going back to like, I wish the person the Vaxxed movies, they were on the Vaxxed movies. There was someone with the study that was potentially finding that vaccines were causing the neurological issues, which again is autism. He was like, I don't want to. I'm at the end of my career, and this would just ruin my career. I would be tainted as the person who did this. And that's going back to, millions of people have to be in on this. Yeah, it's easier to like turn a blind eye than say that, because think of the chaos that would ensue if they tried to say that we've known all this time. And again, maybe that's conspiracy led, but that's just my
I'm going to be
thoughts.
honest with you. Like, I'm pretty open to people. This is pretty conspiracy led. I mean, you're not letting data lead. You're letting, I don't know. Anyway, you have a good day. Thank you so much for coming up. You have a great rest of your night. Joe Mama, you got some questions. You got some questions here that you're spamming. What article states that vaccines don't cause autism? Did you go to my link tree? I got them all right there. All the ones that found no correlation. There's dozens that say that there are no correlations between vaccines and autism. Go check it out. Do you have issues with what I have in there? All right, you guys. If you are new here, let me tell you a little bit about myself. I try to be kind, sweet, soothing lies, good evidence. Wow, you guys, I give up, you guys. Joe Mama has convinced me. She told me that I have sweet, soothing lies. And so, obviously, her amazing data there that she could present was so helpful. Thank you, Joe Mama, for convincing me. I should probably put in the towel. Yeah, except you have RFK saying vaccines cause autism and still cannot produce any research. You know what? He put out a study. He did cite one study that I think it had 30 participants in it. And it was like by a factor of one kid having autism and got vaccinated, that there was like a slight correlation that could never be replicated again. And there were only 30 kids. I'll have to find that. It's hilarious that's like, yeah, they're like, yes, we have this evidence. When you look at 30 kids, there's one more kid pushing it in the direction of vaccines cause autism. You guys, I'm too old to stay up this late, you guys. My kids are sleeping. I should be sleeping, but this is just so fun. Let me tell you a little bit about why we're doing this, what we're doing. I'm an autism parent. I'm an advocate for autism, autism rights, also like autism parents. I have a master's degree in autism studies. I'm a board certified behavior analyst. I do ABA therapy with kids, and I'm currently the CEO of a company that does autism services throughout the state of Utah. And I absolutely love coming onto the live, finding a village, finding good people, and having good conversations. I go live every day. So if you're new here, if you see this button that says follow right there up at the top, you don't even have to leave the page and you can hit me a follow. Oh, Mama Bear, you're an ABA too? That's awesome. Oh, Kian, thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a lot of good. Thank you, Kian. I appreciate that. Kafina says, you don't vaccinate, you are risking the lives of those compromised immune systems like me. Guys, I could have a full debate about vaccines itself, and that's too much for me to tackle in these conversations. I hope you know that. I advocate for vaccines, and when people come up and they have a whole lot of issues, I consider it a win if all that I can get out of them is to say that vaccines don't cause autism. And it's wild that they can't even let that one go. Kind of interesting. I have found, what's really interesting is I have found talking to autism parents, they're way more open-minded about what causes autism and looking at the evidence. It's the people that have no connection to autism that have these beliefs. And then they call it an injury. That autism is an injury. Are you kidding me? An injury? Autism and an acquired brain injury is not the same thing. And you see it all the time. Every time in my lives, if you get an autism parent, man, they're the kindest people. And even if they leave still believing it, I mean, they're kind. We can talk about it. But it's almost like I'm trying to convince people that not only does vaccines not cause autism, but that people with autism are human beings that are okay, that are not damaged, that are beautiful. Like I almost have to make people believe that as well. And okay, my wife says, hey, let's call it a night. That means that I am done, you guys. Hit me a follow. Love you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one. See ya.